The main feature here that RightTool has is the ability for you to create your own custom favorites. So when you first install RightTool, there's going to be a set of custom favorites that come by default. There's 7 that come by default. Maybe when you watch this in the future, we will package it with 8 or 9 or 10. It doesn't really matter. You can actually customize this as you want. But first, let me talk to you about how they work. So if I click on bank feed, simply that's what it does. It takes me into bank feed. If I click on bank register, that's what it does. It takes me into the bank register. Now I can delete any of these favorites if I don't want. So let's say I don't want bank register and I don't want account and home. Simply clicking on that star gets rid of it, removes it. Now, if I want to add new favorites, there's 2 ways to do it. One is I can navigate to whatever that screen is that I want to make it my favorite. Let's say my chart of accounts is something I want to make my favorite. So I'm simply going to click on add custom while I'm on that screen. I can give it a custom name if I want to, or I can just click on save and there it is. And notice that it's in orange because it's a custom favorite. Let's say, for example, I wanted to add the savings account register in there as well. So I'm going to click on view register. That opens it to the specific screen that I want. I'm going to click on add custom and then I'm going to put here register for savings or something like that, just so we can make it really easily identifiable. So that's how we create custom favorites in this RightTool. Now, just to be clear, you can collapse the right navigation bar if you don't want to use it, and you can use a whole bunch of other tools that we're going to talk about soon. But for the time being, while you're looking at it and while you're in favorites, that's pretty much what you will be doing. Now, something that's really neat about the favorites bar is that if I have a predetermined set of tabs that I always go to, let's say as part of my workflow, these are the 7 screens that pretty much I open. I can click on this open all button and basically opens up all the tabs in one shot, the ones that I customize in that favorites list. And then simply I can go from tab to tab and navigate my QuickBooks Online. So right now I told it to load, 7 different tabs. So it's taking its time to load, but once they're loaded, they're all loaded for you in one shot. So you can simply just go tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4, tab 5, tab 6, 7, 8. You get the point. So all these tabs pretty much open in one shot. Okay. For the time being, I'm going to close each of these tabs simply by just clicking on the X. There is a keyboard shortcut to close them all in one shot. But for now, let's just assume that's what we have. And we'll navigate that stuff a little bit later on. Now let's talk about how to create your own shortcuts from the shortcuts database, or your own favorites from the shortcuts database. Down here under favorites, you're going to see all shortcuts and all reports. So if I click on all shortcuts, you're going to go into a database that contains every single screen that QuickBooks Online has that can be accessed via a direct link. So for example, I go to customers and sales, and let's say this receive payment is something that I go to quite a bit. So I'm going to click on the star. And let's say, for example, invoice center is something that I always go to quite a bit. I'm going to click on the star. And let's say that add new customers, something that I do quite a bit, I'll click on that star. So by clicking on those stars, let's do something else. Let's go into vendors and let's click on the star for bill and let's do vendor with details. So by clicking on all those stars, I can go back to favorites and then it creates those custom shortcuts for me. Now you will notice that 1 through 10 are numbered because there's direct keyboard shortcuts for those first 10, assuming those are the ones you access the most. So we'll get to keyboard shortcuts in a little bit. But that, in a nutshell, is how you can create those custom bookmarks. And again, if I want to delete one of these, let's say I don't want to see balance sheet and I don't want to see bill because I made a mistake, just click on the star, that gets rid of them. You can also do this with reports. So I can click here, it says all reports, and then I go into the complete reports database for QuickBooks Online. And let's say I want to go to business overview and I want to have my balance sheet right there. So basically bringing it back, and the balance sheet detail and also the profit and loss detail. So just click on those stars, go back into favorites, and there it is. It's loaded into my list of favorites. So you can customize that as you want, or you can just navigate directly through there. Okay.